and welcome back to Box, a Formula One radio show with your host, Skye Williamson. Today we're going to do a lap by lap of the 2024 season. And what an interesting season it has been. If you will remember, the 2023 season was, Max Verstappen won every single race. But that's okay. Oh, except for one where Carlos Sainz won. And for a little bit there, it looked like the 24th season would be the same. So a brief summary of the 2024 season. Obviously it's over and we're waiting for March for it to be the 2025 season. At least I am. So Max Verstappen won his 4th consecutive World Drivers' Championship, tying himself with his own teammate Sebastian Vettel. McLaren won their first World Constructors title since 1998 with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, which I was holding up hope for a minute there that Ferrari would win, but it's okay. Things happen, and we didn't win, and that's okay because 2025 World Drivers' Championship and Constructors' Championship coming your way. At least I'm delusional enough to think so, which is every Ferrari fan ever. So my favourite fact of the entire season is your very own Pierre Gasly from Alpine got 0 in damages. 0. Obviously there was an issue in, was it LA when he had an engine failure, but as that's not a result of his own and it's just a car, he's got 0 damages, which is quite impressive, while his teammate Esteban Ocon cannot be the same. So who won the World Constructors' Championship? Going out by legacy. He might have not won anything this season. He got renewed for a contract and then dropped, which is very unfortunate. Sergio Perez won the World Constructors' Championship, followed by Williams' Alex Albon and Williams' Franco Colapinto, which I don't think Williams was having a very good year this year with damages, but maybe their luck will change with the new arrival of Carlos Sainz. Alongside Carlos Sainz also appears to be all his sponsorship he's taken with him, including the massive sponsorship which is Santander. However, I think Ferrari will be fine. They have Lewis Hamilton and everything he brings, and it's also Ferrari and it's Charles Leclerc play. They're gonna be good. And I think Williams needs some money because they were losing it. They didn't have anything last year, and that's okay. You know, Williams isn't the team it used to be. It used to be like a much more renowned team than it is. And then it became like the Mercedes junior team. But James Vowell has said how it is not a junior team, which may be why Alex Albon missed out on the Mercedes seat and it was offered to Kimi Antonelli instead. I do think Alex Albon should have got the Mercedes seat. Lots of people were saying, oh, Alex Albon to Red Bull. No, okay, we cannot put him through that again. We cannot put him through that. I can't go through that again because every time I think of Red Bull, I think of that one quote, and I can't remember who said it, but it was something like Red Bull biggest problem right now is Alex Albon, and it just hurts me. And it hurts me as a Pierre Gasly fan as well, for people to be throwing around things like go to Red Bull. No, my favourite drivers shouldn't go to Red Bull. So in other news, Liam Lawson, I'm joking, he's fine. I actually don't know him very well. I haven't really paid any attention to him, and I probably should. All I know is he's blonde and he likes cars. The film, not the, he's a driver. I'd like to hope he likes cars, but maybe not. I mean, is it someone doesn't have a license for an actual car? Is it Max Verstappen doesn't actually have a car? I think it might be. it might be. Or I've made that up. I don't actually know. Other fun facts from this season before I get into lap by lap. Oscar Piastri became the first non-driver champion to complete every lap in the season. Hall of Fame, who also did every single season, was Schumacher in 2002, which is my birth year. Whoop whoop. Hamilton in 2019, and Verstappen in 2023. So the preseason was an interesting start. I can tell you this story really well because I remember I was actually off work that week because I was really ill. So imagine my surprise. I wake up, I see two things on my phone. For some reason, Taylor Swift's trending. I think that was when she announced her album, and then I see Lewis Hamilton and I go, how weird. My two obsessions are blended together and they're both trending. And then I scroll down. F1 announcement. And what does it say? What does the F1 announcement say? Hamilton announces leave from Mercedes to Ferrari? My Mercedes is going to Ferrari? I was shocked. I feel like we've looked over it too much because we've had a year to digest it. And then I think I remembered in December how I felt, and it's complete agony and torture. But for that time, I was like, this can't be true. Like, you see the theory comes around every year that Hamilton will go to Ferrari, and you're like, Hamilton is going to retire with Mercedes. Let's not be ridiculous. Pause. Confirmed. And I go, okay, the last few years with Mercedes have not been great. It's been difficult, and everyone brings it up, and I'm going to bring it up. Abu Dhabi 2021 haunts me. Do you know how many times I tell anyone a Mercedes fan, more specifically I say, they kind of assume, they go, like, Hamilton, and then they go, yeah, Max Verstappen won it. I was like, yeah, I know, I was there, I was shouting at my telly, I was pulling my own total wolf, don't you worry. But I'm still shocked. I really did think he would retire with Mercedes, and you know what? I think he thought so too. So, anyway, from Lewis Hamilton announcing he would go to Ferrari, Kimi Antonelli from Formula 2 got bumped up straight to Mercedes, which is kind of unheard of. It was very expected that Kimi would go to Williams and then Alex Albon to Mercedes. Carlos Sainz was discussed, maybe. I know Toto Wolff wanted Verstappen, which I could have told you then, and I'll tell you now. Verstappen and Russell would have been one team. That would have been an awkward rivalry. It's not like, it would be a Mercedes crash out, but there's no friendship between them to make it like me feel bad about it. So like maybe a Lewis Hamilton Fernando situation, maybe. I don't know, because the rookie's not out. Like, I don't think Russell would outdo Verstappen, to be honest. I think Russell has talent, and so does Verstappen. And I don't think I would want to be in charge of the money if they had to drive alongside each other in the same team. As we all know, Mercedes made Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg pay after the 2016 Barcelona crash out. And yeah, no, Carlos Sainz waited until the middle of summer to announce he was going to Williams. Was I surprised? I think I said that he should go to Williams because the options, there weren't really any options. Like, there wasn't. Like, everyone's like, oh, what bad decision. Man had nothing. Like, he had no choice. It was that, or maybe like Red Bull cash out, or maybe Kip Sauber. And I don't think he deserves that. Like, I'm a Piastri fan. I may not be the biggest fan of Carlos Sainz. However, let's give the man a chance and let him. Maybe he can turn Williams around. I have the same feeling that I have about Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc that I do about Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon. Like, the whole team is founded upon Alex Albon being the number one driver. Alex Albon is Williams racing. Carlos Sainz is just there for a day trip. He's just there for like a year. Maybe I say like a year and a half, and then like mid-season next year, someone gets kicked out. Maybe Leon or Lawson. I don't know if Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen would also drive well together. I don't think anyone drives. Max Verstappen might be my own opinion. It might be that. Even Daniel Ricciardo. I think the only person we should put him next to is maybe Sebastian Vettel. Let's see how that goes. But like Red Bull era Sebastian Vettel, like, oh, that would be a very loud radio. I think someone said, oh yeah, Yuki won't get like Red Bull seat because of how he curses on the radio, and I go, you've met Max Verstappen, right? The FIA came up with their penalty for Max Verstappen. Red Bull is very used to paying these fines. I think that'd be fine. It'd be a chaotic, but I think he should have got the seat. Anyway, so this season started like the last. A very, very strong Verstappen lead in Bahrain, but by a total of 20 seconds. I remember I watched in the pub and I was thinking, I was with my friend and I was thinking, this year's going to be different. At the time I felt, oh, okay, it's not. And then Saudi Arabia happened again and I was like, oh, another Verstappen win. But, however, it was a little bit more fun because who entered Saudi Arabia? None other than the British driver, Ollie Behrman. So Carlos Sainz had to go to surgery for his appendix and was replaced by the Formula 2 driver, Ollie Behrman. The British driver came 7th, which I was hoping top 10, and I was expecting 10th, maybe like realistically like 11th. But he got 7th, landing more points than Kik Sauber did the entire season. Which is a bit embarrassing for them. Very sorry about that. And the Formula 2 driver was greeted and talked to by no other than the future of Ferrari, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. That is one thing I do love about Lewis Hamilton, and I'm going to say that as a Lewis Hamilton fan. I like how this entire season that has been filled with rookies. Like, I can't even recall a season that was like this with so many rookies. And Lewis is always there, like, hi, just bracing them into Formula 1, and I think it's beautiful. I really think it's beautiful, and also the way Franco admires him is just so meaningful. I'm gonna like guys look at that and go, yeah, real. Anyway, so with Ollie Behrman's fantastic race with 7th, he was offered the seat for highs for 2025, and his teammate will be Esteban Ocon, which a lot of people are concerned about. I think Ocon has a bad rep. People think he's mean. I think he's just French. And Pierre Gasly is just like a ball of sunshine, so you can't really tell. But I think Ocon's nice. I remember there was a picture. It was like Esteban Ocon, someone else, and Oscar Piastri. I think it was Alex Albon, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, they're all introverted, except I think Alex Albon is like outward for the camera, but he's introverted, which is why those three make sense as friends, and no one else got it. And I was like, no, I think Esteban Ocon is just a bit shy, and I think you take him to the tree. Like, he's not mean. I don't know why he gets a reputation for that. Besides, I'm not an Ocon fan, I just believe in his defense. I want that to be clear. Anyway, Australia, it was, once again, it was just a carry-on for 2023, as Sainz took the lead over Verstappen, recovered from his appendix, and he won. I wish Oscar Piastri got podium. I don't think many people remember this, but I remembered it because I thought it was wrong. I think Oscar Piastri was 4th at the time, and they were like, oh, let Lando take over, because Lando's faster, because obviously this was his 6th season in F1. This was Oscar Piastri's 2nd season in F1 and his 1st with McLaren. So obviously McLaren said, move over, let Lando have a shot at coming like 3rd and going on podium. He didn't. This was at his home race. I'm not saying Piastri would have gone 3rd, but at his own race, ooh, I was like, deserve better. Anyway, the 2025 season starts in Australia. So I'm saying, Oscar Piastri, come get your home race. I believe in you. We don't have any second drivers here. You're first to me, number 1. So is Mark Webber. And once again in Japan, Verstappen won. Once again in China, Verstappen won. And then Miami was the moment things started changing. And I'm going to say this, like, Verstappen doesn't come in to win other races, but that's the future. Even though you've all watched the 24 season, that's just pretend we haven't. In Miami, which was, by the way, the Ferrari cars that were, like, blue, I kind of digged it. I kind of liked it. You know, like, I'm such a red girl. I love red. Ferrari is red. But the blue, I liked it. Controversial, apparently, but I did. Lando Norris won his maiden win, and you know what, guys, I did cry. You're not going to believe that because you hear the things I say, but I did. I was very emotional, and I was also a Lando Norris fan, and at the end of the day, he is just a kid that his dream is to be an F1 driver. Now, he's still a kid. His dream is to be a world champion. And that's all I'm going to say. And anyway, this was the moment that Lando Norris became a contender for the World Drivers' Championship. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't think it was discussed that he would win. I don't think anyone said it. I think everyone was talking about Carlos Sainz being like revenge for losing out on the Ferrari seat. And then, you know, us delusional Hamilton fans were like, yeah, Hamilton's going to get his 8th title. Didn't say that for a second. I did. And then you had my other friends that said Fernando Alonso. Come on, be real. And then, I can never pronounce the country, I'm so sorry. I'm dyslexic, I want that to be clarified. Amelia Rowe, something. Anyway, Verstappen won. He won again. But then, and everyone comments that this is the most boring race. I want you to sit down. Sit down with me right now. Monaco. Right. It's a street race. No, you can't really overtake. But pit strategies go wrong all the time. It's a legacy race. It's not Silverstone. Silverstone and Brazil are interesting because they rain. And it's a cool corners and it's fun. And they rain. But Monaco is about legacy. Everyone wants to win Monaco. Everyone wants to be part of Ferrari. Everyone wants to win Monaco. Those are the two consistencies of Formula One. And who else wants to win Monaco other than the guy born in Monaco? Charles Leclerc, the one and only, the king of Monaco, the prince of Monaco himself. Charles Leclerc becomes the first Monegasque to win since 1931. 1931. And everyone's like, oh, maybe that's not... Okay, he almost won multiple times. But every time there was a pit stop issue or strategy, because he hit pole every time. So whilst I was like, oh, Charles Leclerc got pole, he got pole. I'm so ecstatic and happy that Charles Leclerc got pole. I'm thinking, but every time, like, we call it the Monaco curse, right? Is he loses. Like, somehow, against fate, he loses. And he's not, like, the only driver that this has happened to. I think it was Daniel Ricciardo back in, was it 2016? He almost won the Monaco Grand Prix, and he was going to, and then crash sprint happened. Max Verstappen crashed. What a surprise. And he took it away from him. I'm saying that, like, 2016 Max. Like, we all know what he was like in 2016, which was road rage, really. But Charles Leclerc, like, this is his home win. Home wins are so important to drivers. As I was just talking about with Oscar Piastri in Australia, it's so important for a driver to win at home. Nonetheless, like Monaco. Monaco is a thing itself. And then you just, oh my goodness, this ceremony with everyone there, and it was so beautiful. And I cried, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, please win. Like, I have faith, you can do it. Like, Charles Leclerc, right, is known as the unluckiest driver in F1. He has no luck. All skill, no luck. And the luck part is what makes him lose every time. And because F1 is a game of luck. It is. Like, pit stop strategies go wrong and every single strategy of Ferrari go wrong, which I'm not looking forward to next year as being a Hamilton fan as well. That shall be fun. But like Monaco is so significant. And then you just see, you see him jump in the pool and you see Fred jump in as well. And it was just this most beautiful day. And I think, you know, the 2024 season was beautiful. It was filled with these significant historical moments for these drivers, something that's personal to them. It wasn't just about being the best driver or winning. It was about winning what matters. And what matters to Charles Leclerc? Monaco. And then we return to Canada, where Verstappen won. Spain. Ready? Are you ready? You're gonna have to hold on to your horses right now, because you're not gonna believe it. Verstappen. Okay, and then Austria. Ready? Ready? Oh, alright. George Russell won? George Russell, the British lad who drinks a lot of tea? Yeah. He won Austria. I'm so proud of him. But that's nothing compared to what I'm about to say again. What was the race after Austria? You asked me, and I go, I don't remember. Oh wait, no. I do, because I cried because I didn't get tickets to it. The UK one. Grand Prix. The Great British Grand Prix. The Silverstone Grand Prix. And who is in the front? It's an all British front. Okay, there is like a lot of British drivers in F1. And I always see the stats that people bring up, like Verstappen has 100% of the points, and I can't remember the stat. And then it's like Lewis Hamilton has like 20%. Like that's probably not it. And I'm like, there's like a million British drivers. Like you know that, right? Like it's the same thing about like the stats of the German drivers. There's so many German Formula 1 drivers. Like them getting that percentage is still impressive. There's not any other Dutch drivers. Like Verstappen's going to have the points. It's just one that I'm gonna get angry at fans making upset because I can make up a million about Hamilton and it probably will be true. Anyway, it's a whole British front row. We have George Russell himself, who he's just coming off a high. He just won his other Grand Prix. He just won. And then in second, we have the Silverstone champion. He's already won 8 Silverstones. He's a full, complete driver. Do you know what I mean? Like, Silverstone is difficult for drivers, same with the way Brazil is, and the fact that it's weather. Like the weather, if you're like me, you've grown up in Britain, the weather, temperamental. It's raining 1 second, I'm not gonna say sunny, it's clear the next. Which means this makes it difficult for time management, because you have to sit there and consider, do I change, right, to wet tire? Because this is gonna be more helpful if the track stays wet. But it could stop raining any second and then done. You're on a slow tire and everyone is going in front of you, all because you made the wrong error. Or do you risk it? Do you, as you're going 200 miles per hour, do you look and like there's like this whole thing they're saying, like it's like 10 seconds of blindness every time you blink going 20 miles an hour. I wouldn't want that responsibility, and it's raining and you have all these corners. Like Silverstone is known for the corners. You have to make a choice of what you're going to do with what tire. If the tire can hold out long enough, if it's worth going in, what time it's supposed to go in, and you are discussing this with your team. Like it's not just you alone. However, that being said, I remember watching, and I could tell it was all the older drivers, more experienced drivers, they were arguing with their strategists about this. You know, I find it quite a lot that young drivers like Lando Norris, and there's nothing against him, he's a younger driver, the decisions about the tires, they don't fight back on it because they're the driver. However, drivers like Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, I remember on the radio, like Verstappen's Hamilton their drivers they were like, oh, like move to this tire, and Max was like, no. I think he said it a bit ruder, but he got the point. He was like, no, that's a bad idea, not gonna do it. And he was like midfield, like he was quite far back from Max Verstappen. I can't remember why. I'm gonna be honest, don't remember. I think he was next to his teammate, so it was clearly the car. This was the moment that the car started deteriorating. Like it was slowly, which is why like everyone started winning. But this was the moment that it was like a bit, ooh, like I don't know how it's gonna go for Max Verstappen if it's the car or him. We'll get back to that comment in a moment. And then I remember Hamilton was talking to Toto Wolff, and Toto Wolff was like, okay, we made this decision, you're gonna change the slick tires. He goes, no. He's like, it's going to stop in like 2 minutes, like promise, trust. And they're like, okay, we really advise you to do this. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And you have to remember, like, George Russell is like in front of him, which is so sad. I'm gonna get to it. I feel so bad for George Russell for this point, because he's in the lead, and then what happens? I think it was like his water tanks like stopped working, or it was leaking, and he had to go in the pit. They were gonna fix it, and they were like, no, it can't be fixed. Front row, starts from pole position. Water engine issue, off the grid. Like this is his home race. Like as much as I can be like happy for Lewis Hamilton that he's in the lead and there's Lando Norris there as well. Like this was his chance to win his home race. Anyway, with George Russell retired, we have Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri in the front row. Max Verstappen is slowly creeping up, but he's not there yet. He's not here yet. He might be soon. But, before George Russell comes out, what I want to discuss, which is one of my favourite things, Mercedes has done this a few times. I remember it was with Bottas, very few years ago. So, you have two options. You have two drivers out there, and you have another team with two drivers out there. Do you A, stagger the pit stops and go, okay, we'll leave Hamilton out there, we'll take George, and then we'll take Hamilton, and then you can work out right at the front, which is what McLaren did? Or do you risk it and choose a bold option, having trust in your team, having trust in your engineers, and you take both of them at the same time? You go boom, boom, out. They did it, and they smashed it. And it's like exactly what they did with Bottas, and that was incredible, and they did it, and it's such a bold choice, and without it, I don't think either of them, like Hamilton wouldn't have won. Like he wouldn't have. It was incredible. This was kind of the thing I didn't like about McLaren. McLaren does have favourites. We all know McLaren has favourites, and everyone's going to be like, no, they treat their drivers equally. No team treats drivers equally. Like we all know that. That is how sports work. You have a captain and you have the team. And unfortunately, that is not Oscar Piastri, as much as I dearly love Oscar Piastri. The team chose Lando Norris to come in. Also, I think he was in front anyway, so it makes sense. But this also meant that Oscar Piastri was by himself, which maybe it wouldn't have been bad if Mercedes had staggered as well, because it would be him against Lewis Hamilton, which, well, I mean, but then you'd have a stagger again, and it's depending on the pit stops and time limits. But, he didn't get the podium. And it's not his fault. Like, he did what he could, things didn't work out. It happens. Like I said, luck, team strategies, it's not always a driver. Anyway, 945 days since his last win, before he lost it all to Abu Dhabi 2021, he restores his worthy title. The driver who got disqualified in Brazil 2021 and went from P20 to P1, the teammate who let George Russell through for a chance of winning, the rookie who almost won in his first year against World Drivers' Championship contender twice, Fernando Alonso. He wins. The 7-time world champion, Hamilton wins Silverstone. This is his 9th Silverstone win. He overtakes Michael Schumacher for his tie at the moment, and he overtakes it. He is restored to victory. He waves He waves the British flags to all the fans. He comes over and he puts in the hand, and everyone is so happy and so thankful that he's won, and it's beautiful, and it's like a mirrored moment. He gets, like, before he even gets out the car, George is going, "You're the man, you're the man." And I remember thinking, because Verstappen is in second, he was in third, he overtakes Lando Norris, and I think, please, Max, please, like, I know we don't see eye to eye, and I know you want to win, and I'm not blaming you for wanting to win, but I need you to let him win. He didn't let him win. He was like battling out, and I can see Max stepping behind him, and also because it's UK, I get it on the big screen, and I'm thinking, please, and he does, and Lewis Hamilton wins, and then he gets out of the car, and his dad is there. Anthony Hamilton is right there, and they just like, and Lewis is in the car for a bit, and it's a mirror moment to Abu Dhabi 21 when he just sat in the car in disbelief that he's lost. Right now, disbelief, he's won. And he gets out of the car and he just sees his dad, and they just stay there and hug, and you can see, like, he has a helmet on. You can see he's been crying. You can tell, like, obviously he's gonna cry. This means so much to him, and it's his own race, and he hasn't won since the injustice. And he has won at home with his family. He's won with Mercedes, won last time. He thinks this is gonna be the last time he's won. Like, he can leave Mercedes and know that he won Silverstone, won last time with Bono, won last time with Tonto Wolff. I'm even like emotional just thinking about it. It meant everything for him. Anyway, he comes first, Verstappen, then Lando, and it's just this podium, and it's bigger. Like, he is bigger than F1. People go to Mercedes and they go to F1 for Lewis Hamilton. He doesn't do social media with Mercedes. Like I think I've seen him a few times and I go, oh, what is he doing here? He doesn't do it because he's bigger than that. And in that moment when Lewis Hamilton wins Silverstone, everything is restored. And then we have Hungary, which was also one of my favorite races. Talking about restoring titles and victories. Another maiden win for McLaren. Oscar Piastri wins his first race. However, it is overcrowded by the rumours and the tweets and everyone having their opinion that it's a mistake. It was a mistake by McLaren. And they're saying Oscar Piastri didn't deserve to win. He led every lap. Like, he was leading all the laps until the McLaren stake. So, maybe you didn't watch the race. Maybe you don't understand it. I'm here to explain it to you in the most non-condescending way ever. So, you have, and also I want you to know, this is a 7 world champion. They want to cover him. They want, when you see Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton, you want to be covered by them. So they say that Lewis is like, he's going to get podium. Like, he could win. So McLaren decided it was more important to cover Lewis Hamilton instead of taking it in the order they did. You know how I said with Silverstone, obviously they took Lando because he was further in than Piastri, and that didn't work out because of what Mercedes did. So obviously they take they take Lando Norris because he's in at the same time as Hamilton, which means Piastri has to pit after Hamilton and Lando. That's not going to work well for him. It means that he's gone back. He's not leading the last few laps. And he had led the majority, and he led not because Lando overtook him. It wasn't because of the driving. It wasn't his fault. It was luck-based, which if he wasn't his teammate, you just go fine. Like, but it is his teammate. So I don't think McLaren did anything wrong. McLaren team orders to switch. Lando says no. And they say, you need Oscar to win. Like, they needed him for the Constructors title because realistically, we both know Like, you can want a driver to win a driver's championship, and no, it probably is not going to happen. And he was like, no, because he wants to win the driver's championship, but you can also look at the points and know that wasn't going to happen, so it's fine. And it was just so awkward, because there should be a happy, like, the thing I was talking about with, like, Monaco, and so, like, it's not the same because it's his home race, but it's his maiden race. Like, these are important. Anyway, Lando switches. Piastri wins. And it made for a very awkward podium. And there's this moment on the podium. And Oscar is at the top, and next to him is Lando Norris, and you've got Hamilton. And I've never felt so bad for a driver on podium. And he knows it's awkward, but it's his first maiden win. Okay, right? And everyone's gonna, and I agree, right? Drivers get a lot of adrenaline. However, he didn't have a cool down room. And he moves like a bit to, like, he moves out the way when Lando smashes the bottle ready to, like, spray everyone with champagne. And he dodges because he thinks that Lando, his teammate, is going to spray him for his maiden win with champagne, and he doesn't. He doesn't even, like, acknowledge him. He sprays at Hamilton into the crowd, and you just have Piastri just there, all by himself. Like, he's just, like, what is he, like, supposed to do? He's all by himself, just thinking, like, why? What am I? This is supposed to be a celebration. This is supposed to be a moment in history for him. Like, he doesn't know he's gonna win again. Like, this is, like, you have people that don't win a game once they win a few times in their entire career. Not everyone is Lewis Hamilton. And he's by himself. And it was awful. And I think that was a moment where lots of people, I'd say, like, started to turn away from Lando Norris. And I'm not saying it's deserved or undeserved. Obviously, these are people, and they have adrenaline, and people are under a microscope, and they don't react well. People don't react well to losing. But the win was fair. It was fair, it was honest, it's how things go. That's just that. And then Belgium comes. And it was a good Piastri race. Hamilton was leading, and he was kind of against Piastri at this point. And then, never done before, George Russell uses one pit stop strategy in Belgium. So then we have Mercedes 2-1 with George Russell in front until he gets disqualified because his car's too light, which could have been because of the one pit stop strategy, because obviously debris comes off the tires, it makes it lighter than he'd obviously want it to be. So then, like, it kind of, like, the podium's not awkward. It was a little awkward because I think, like, Hamilton wanted to win. Like I said, these drivers, they have adrenaline. Yeah, it happens. People on purpose. Perfect. Anyway, Hamilton takes the race win. It's a little awkward. And then Netherlands returns, and things get really, really, really awkward for the entire fandom. It becomes a whole split. Tables start turning to Verstappen, as at his home race, Verstappen doesn't win. He gets a grid penalty because he's changing his engine. It happens. He does it every time at his home race, and he normally still manages to win. This time, luck went out for him. And Lando Norris, as he's winning, Verstappen's home race goes simply lovely. Simply lovely. I think he regrets those two words so much because it caused so much controversy. Because, right, it could have been a joke. It didn't, I don't think people were acted well to it. And then Verstappen came out with, like, a line that was, like, simply lovely, because it is, like, it's his catchphrase. And it's at his own race. And and then I think it was awkward for social media because they did this, like, post that was, like, statement. Lando Norris won by, like, I feel like it was 20 seconds, or maybe it was 40, I don't remember. It was a lead. I was like, cool, yeah, he's in a rocket ship. Cool, you drove a fast car. I sound like anyone hating on Lewis Hamilton, to be honest. Anyway, And then they had to do it for like the rest of the season. I think they just wanted to do it once. And they're like, well, this is awkward, guys, so we're just gonna keep going. And I think my favorite one was they did like Oscar, and then they did Oscar worthy performance. And I was like, that's the best one. The other ones didn't really work. They didn't really land. That one, that was all. I say that because that was my caption of my story when he won. So I think like a social media manager, which I don't know if I should be proud of that. And unfortunate news for Williams Racing, Logan Sargent was replaced. It was his last race as he crashed in the Dutch Grand Prix. And the next one, which is one of my favourites, is the Italian race. A close one between Piastri and Leclerc, and against all odds, against the car itself, Leclerc wins. And so he wins his second symbolic home race. Italy, Monza is home to Ferrari. It is home to Toffee. It is the Ferrari race. It's important. And he wins. And in other news, Logan Sargent, obviously, he's replaced by Franco Colapio, the Argentina driver, who comes 12th, which is, it's not great, but Logan was coming 20th. So it's an improvement for Williams, and it was a good moment. And Italy is just like a gorgeous race. Like, it's important. I would love to be there. Please invite me. And then Baku is an interesting race. So Baku is also a street race, and as I discussed with Monaco, it's interesting because it's a street race. But Monaco you can't overtake. Baku, you can overtake. You cannot overtake. It's tight though, and there's corners, and everyone crashes. And poor F2 Ollie Berman, who replaced Sainz in Saudi Arabia, comes back to replace Kevin Magnussen after he had a one race ban as he amassed the maximum penalty points of 12. Ollie Berman came in 10th. I think that was good. In our Heinz car as well, he did fine. Anyway, in normal news, Lando Norris bottled the pole within one corner, and Oscar Piastri overtook him and won the Grand Prix, earning back his win and won overtake of the month. And I think this was a better maiden win, I think, to Oscar when he was on the podium. Also, it felt like a maiden win, like it was a proper celebration. And I mean, Lando was kind of like, but he was happy. Like, he still I think he sprayed them with champagne. It was not as awkward as his first podium. Singapore, Norris won. But this ended up being Daniel Ricciardo's last race when he sat in his seat for a few minutes afterwards, soaking up the last taste of Formula 1. And he also earned the fastest lap, taking 1 point off Lando Norris for his previous teammate Verstappen, who thanked him in his own radio, which is a very nice gesture. In Austin, Leclerc once again won from turn 1, and he quote said that he knew Verstappen would go flat out in turn 1. And this was the race that Daniel Ricciardo, he's like famous for this race. He like dresses up like a cowboy, but he was placed by Liam Lawson. In Mexico, Carlos Sainz won, and then there was like this weird competitiveness between Liam Lawson and Sergio Perez at Sergio Perez's home race, and it's even more awkward because he then replaced him. In Brazil, Hamilton drove Senna's McLaren around Brazil Grand Prix in the morning before the race. Verstappen, in a shock turn from P17, went to P1 in the rain. It was a very stressful race. There were so many yellow flags, there were so many safety cars, all the red flags. I think there was a black flag, actually. I think it was for Kevin. And then there was an Alpine podium, which was like a win for France, a win from Normandy. Two Normandy boys, Ocon and Pierre Gasly, have had a rivalry. Like, it's kind of like a petty rivalry. It's not the same as like Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. It's just been a beginning since F1. But in their win together, where these Alpine come from tractors to boats in the weather, they've got a podium. Poor Ollie Berman, obviously, he was in Brazil. I can't remember who he replaced, but he struggled in the rain and he got P12, which I don't think was bad. And then an unlikely medal, which Max doesn't really ever get. He got driver of the day, deserved. And this was like it was good. I think this was a very good PR move for Max Verstappen, actually. This was good for him. And then LA comes, which none of the drivers I think really like the LA race. It's become this big thing because it's like so many lights. It's supposed to be the bar. It's supposed to be like the Qatar, Abu Dhabi kind of races, but it's not really there. Maybe soon. And it's a 1-2 for Mercedes, their 60th one as well. And the last one for George Russell and Hamilton, who went from P10 to P2. And this is when Verstappen takes the World Drivers' Championship with one position in front of Norris. And in Qatar, Verstappen also won. And then as I was saying, and I knew it from the beginning, I saw it like last time they went to LA, there was like this little weird Verstappen Max thing, like with Russell, and I was like, oh, that's a bit like, sometimes Russell will do the same thing that Verstappen will get, and then Verstappen gets mad, and then they get mad at each other, and it's a very weird dynamic of people, and they just get, there's like a rivalry, and it becomes a very big media thing. Abu Dhabi, Leclerc and Leclerc free practice after Leclerc joins his brother Charles Leclerc for free practice, and we see the Ferrari cars and the Leclerc brothers drive together. Beautiful moment. Norris won the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which is it's a good turnout because it is. But a more impressive performance is from Charles Leclerc, who went from P19 to P3. That's impressive. I think it was like in the first 10 laps he went from P19 to P6. As well, his other teammate for next year, Hamilton, overtook Russell in the last lap, landed him in P4 from P16. And it was Hamilton's last race with his departure from Mercedes, and he did like donuts, and it was a whole thing. It was beautiful. It was very sad, and there was this moment from Tonto Wolff that was beautiful, and it was just a radio message saying goodbye. And if you can't win with us, they want him to win with Ferrari, and it's okay that he's leaving. I think it's beautiful. Anyway, I think I mentioned in the off season, Sergio Perez got replaced by Liam Lawson, and Isaac from F2, who came in second, goes to Visa Cash App Red Bull. And the winner of F2, Gabriel Bertelli, there we go, comes into Kick Sauber, and he won F2. I feel kind of bad. Franco is confirmed as a reserve F1 driver for Alpine, and Jack Donoghue, who scored no points in Abu Dhabi, has 6 races to prove himself. I think we can safely say it's likely Franco will get the seat, whether or not you approve of that. I'm kind of here for it. I'm kind of here for it. But Alpine is a controversial take for some people with what they did to Oscar Piastri a year ago. Anyway, that is it from me today. I hope you enjoyed Lap by Lap. This was Box by Skye Williamson. I will see you next week at 5. Goodbye.